right. Okay, so let's get started. What I wanted to do today is I want to continue what we started with consonant and vowel patterns. We're going to also visit the second principle of spelling protection today. And we're also going to work with what happens when my student is reading and makes a mistake and spelling and makes a mistake. It's really important to me to share with you and to get you feeling that you are in a position in which you understand how to deal with your students' mistakes. Because I think that that is as important as the other prongs on a 3 or maybe 4 or 10-footed stool. We need to know the content of what we teach, which is our consonants, our vowels, our different spelling patterns, syllable types, orthography, morphology. We need to know those skills, but as what we've been working on is how do I teach those skills? But the third really, really, really important thing is, what if my student makes a mistake? How can I work with them in such a way that they eventually become self-correcting and self-monitoring? And that's why dealing with mistakes the way I'm trying to share with you is so, 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 so important. And it's hard. It's hard to break our habits. It's hard to break our habits of saying, good job, right? Or no, you're wrong, or repeating the question or something like that. It's hard to get out of our mindset of how we've been taught to deal with mistakes with kids. But if we can, the difference is so significant in how our children feel about themselves and in their ability to self-monitor and self-correct. And I feel if they can self-monitor and self-correct, they don't need me every day, all day long. And so it's really an important thing. So I have a question. When we finished last time, we were talking about the letter C, and I'm wondering how many people went to the dictionary and looked at how many pages were devoted to the letter C and how many pages were devoted to the letter K. Anybody? Okay, Joanne did. Anybody else? Great. So, and I brought, you guys are going to love this. This is my husband's Canadian dictionary. And so let's see what you guys learned, and then I'll kind of go into this. So what is one thing, Joanne, that you learned?
All right. Well, in the dictionary that I had, there were 160 pages of C's versus 19 pages of K.
116 pages of C.
60, yeah.
160, 60. Not 16, 60. And 19 of K. What does that tell us?
The probability of it being spelled with a C is going to be greater.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Tenfold almost. Eightfold at least. No,
right.
I'm bad at math. It's really big. It's really big. Okay. So I do that with kids all the time. I get them to go to the dictionary and I ask them to look at how many pages for C and how many for K. So someone else did that. Who is the other person who did this? Oh, okay. And you don't have your name on your.
Oh, we froze. You froze.
This is Deb.
Deb, what's one thing that you found?
Well, I looked it up on this thing called Word Searcher, so you can look up how many words begin with C and how many words begin with K. So I have not pages but word numbers, just because.
Oh, good.
So 5,988 words began with C versus 394 began with K. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to keep going because I can just plug it in this computer and ask it. So it told me how many, if I put in CA, CE, CI, CO, CU, C, and then CY, and then I did the same thing with K with the vowels. And it was interesting. It had most of the vowels after C were A. So CA had 1,049 and CO had 2,479. And the Ks are all just really, really small.
That's a very cool thing. Word searcher, eh?
Yeah, and it's if I just look with word searcher, it doesn't quite work, but it's Neil Ramsden. Actually, it'll be easier if I just
Will you share that?
Yes, I
Okay.
will.
Does anybody else know
that.
who Neil Ramsden is? Neil Ramsden is this person. He's now lives in France, and he himself is dyslexic, and he's really drop dead brilliant. And what he has done in such an amazing way, when we get to morphemes, Mel Ramsden's name is going to be thrown around. So he's done what are called word matrices, where you take a base word and then you put several prefixes and then suffixes, and you can see how words create morpheme families. And he's really done that. And he has helped many people over the years look at etymology and morphology. See, that's pretty cool. So who else looked up? Heather Doty, you looked up. I know
Yeah.
the trick now.
Hi. There you go. You have our names. Yeah, I got the same thing as Deb, the word search.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Because I also don't own a dictionary in person.
Nice. Okay.
Did I?
I actually own one. I was just too lazy to get up and, and use
You
it.
know
So
what? There's part of me that says, I think it's really good that you can do that, and that's what you think of first. But what I also wanted to do is to have people have a sense of what kinds of words are the K words. So we have kauri, which is a tall timber tree. We have kayak. We have ketubah, which is Hebrew. We have the word key, and because it's got an E, we can't use a C for that. We have the word, kedgeree. Kedgeree is an Indian dish. We also have a kilt, which does have an I, so you can't put a C there, but we have kimono. And we also have a lot of Anglo-Saxon words: kiss, kitten, kind, king, kin. We also have kiwi. So what you see is that many of the words that we have are words that have I-E or Y as the vowel, but also K words have a lot of foreign origin that we've just taken the sound and spelled it with a K. And then we have, and these are my favorite, KN words. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why they're my favorite. KN words used to be pronounced knick. That's how you said night. Knick, knee, knave. So it used to be that we pronounced the K. And then when those Norman French came over and conquered England, they said, oh, no, that's just too guttural in German. You got to sound more French. And they made the K silent, but they kept the spelling. So that's my take on Ks and Cs.
I did also, after looking up the word searcher, I went to Edam Online for some of them. So so for like kangaroo, I found out that that's probably an Aboriginal word. And kayak is Eskimo, and karate is Japanese, etc. So I didn't do it with every word, but I realized that was lacking, the origin of the word, because I didn't have the dictionary in front of me. So yeah, very helpful.
So one of the things that can really be exciting to do with your kids is to have one or two of these words a week, like kayak and canoe, and no, not canoe. Yeah, you could have canoe, because it would be interesting to see where it's from. But to say, where are these words from? And how does that inform our thinking about spelling and reading? And it starts to bridge that gap between sounds and spelling patterns and meaning. And that's when it gets fun. That's when it gets fun. Okay. I wanted to show you this toolbar with C, because it really helps if you start to develop toolbars for your students, for them to have a resource, because their working memory might elude them. And if you were trying to have them spell in a list with C and K, if they had a toolbar like this, they would be able to think about the spellings of K and C and not ask you every time. Okay, so now, you know what, Sarah, I'll be good. So we want to talk about how can I think about and talk to myself about spelling the sound of K. Okay, because we have two possibilities, don't we? So we have this word corp. Corp, it's a nonsense word. And it could be spelled with a C. Why could it be spelled with a C? Anybody willing to say why it could be spelled with a C? And say corp?
They have the same sound, K and C.
They do, yeah. And
it's followed by O.
It's followed by O. Because if the C were followed by something I, E, or Y, I could not use the C there. Okay, so let's do this. So what we have to say to ourselves first and foremost is, what is the vowel sound? And the vowel sound is or. And given that vowel sound, what are the possible spellings? Well, Elizabeth told us C or K, right? And then we have to say to ourselves, what's the most probable? And from doing this exercise with a dictionary, you now know it's C. And that's how you tell your kids to think through spelling, whether it's K or C. You don't have to memorize it. You can think about it. So now we have this word, and this word is kef, also a nonsense word. So what's the first thing we have to ask ourselves? What's the vowel? And the vowel here is E. Now, given the fact that that vowel is E, and I want the first sound to be K, can I use a C? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Nope. And the reason I can't is that K, the C with an E after it would say S, and I want K. Okay? Now, we're back to the same questions that we did a week or so ago about student mistakes. And there's three things that we always want to say to ourselves. We want to say, what was correct and where was it correct in their answer? What was incorrect and where was the mistake? And then how do I reteach this? How do I ask questions? What are the tools in my toolbox that I can use to get my student from their mistake to a place where they can think through the correct answer? And that's our formula. That's our formula. And the only difference between this slide and the last is when I ask my students questions after I've retaught or discussed the concepts or facts, I want to ask a question with two possible answers. So can you use a C or can you use a K? All right. So we're going into a new kind of mistake. We're doing reading mistakes. And what I want to do is I want to create a situation in which my students are not wildly guessing to try and fix a mistake, because that's what they do, don't they? They know they made a mistake and they start wildly guessing. They don't know what's wrong and where it's wrong, but they're going to guess and find out where it is. So one of the things is that if my kids are reading and they make a mistake, I put my hand over the text and I say, let's talk about it. So for a reading mistake, your first step is just talk with your student and make her interact with you. And then I tell her what in the word that she just read was correct. And I want to point out where the mistake is. And we need to talk about what the mistake is. And then I need to ask questions to guide her to the correct answer. So here's an example. And I think, yeah, I'm going to give you a couple of examples because then you guys are going to go into chat rooms or into breakout rooms, and you're going to work on a couple of mistakes with each other, okay? Because it's all good and well for me to understand and tell you how to do this, but if you don't practice it, it won't be yours, okay? So I have a text and the text read, I'm going to go running on the track at school. And my student says, I'm going to go run on the track at school. It's a minor error, right? But it's an error. So I cover the sentence up and I say to my students, you know, the beginning of the sentence, I'm going to go and on the track at school. I completely agree with how you read that. I think that was completely correct. Let's talk about what you said. You said go run. How would you spell run? And they would tell me R-U-N. And I'm going to go to the next thing. And then I'd lift my hand up and I said, is that what your eyes tell you to say? And they was, oh no, I have to say, I'm going to go run. Is that right, Sasha? I'm going to go running, not run. Okay. So that's the jig. That's how you do it. You tell them where the mistake is, what is right, and then you ask them questions and then have them compare it to what they read. So here's another example. The most interesting products of an active volcano are the streams of lava that pour forth from the principal crater. And they read the most interesting products of an active volcano are the steams of lava that pour forth from the principal crater. So I'm going to cover the word steams up. And I'm going to say, wow, you read that sentence with probably 90% accuracy. Let's talk about the word steams. When you said steams, what is the sound that comes right after the t in steams? And they'd say E. And I say, right, what letter would spell that? And they might say E or EA. And I'd say, I agree. And then I'd lift my hand and I'd say, what does your eye see directly after the t in this word? And they would say, oh, there's an R. It says streams. Got it? Okay. So now we're going to have you work in pairs. And there's a couple of slides with this, which you have on your handouts. And I'd like you to alternate. And I want to see 1, 2, 3. You have like 2 or 3 mistakes that you're going to be dealing with, okay? So I'm going to give you 7 minutes to work on a mistake in groups using these strategies. What is correct? Where is it correct? What is incorrect? Where is incorrect? What do I need to do to get my student to think about the mistake and then correct it themselves by looking at it? Okay. Okay. So how did that go, guys? Anybody willing? Yeah? Are you feeling more comfortable with handling? No. Lee says no. Okay. So here's the thing. You got to practice. The only way it's going to get better is if you practice. I'm so sorry to tell you that. But it's like if if you don't practice it, it won't get to an automatic level. And you don't have to use my words verbatim, but you need the principles. You know, what was correct and where was it correct and what was wrong and where was it wrong and how can I reteach this idea and then how can I ask a question? So how about this?
Oh, sorry, we got stuck, Sasha, on the R dependent vowel. Like suddenly we were having a big discussion about that, and
okay,
like when we revisit the reteaching part, we
okay,
so
what was it that you got? Where did you get stuck? Can you describe it to me?
So we felt quite confident, I think, and Joanne, jump in if I say this incorrectly, but we felt I think we said, you know, you said the first part correct, I agree with you, and the last part, and there was just one word.
Yes.
And then we would get them to say, we repeated their word, is that right? So when you say the word
yes.
Frist. And then Joanne, what happened? I can't remember how we got.
I think then we got confused. And how do you make them understand? Then I had said, all right, what letter came right? What letter did you hear come after the sound? And we said, And then we thought, oh God, we've got to go back to last week's lesson, because then how do you get then you tell them to look at the correct word first, and what letter, then the letter that came after the I, the F was I.
Okay, so here's the thing. What you do is you deal with the mistake first. So they said Frist, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can say, I agree, the first sound is correct, and the last two sounds are correct. Let's think about the vowel in this word and the letter R, because we know that the letter R can either act as a consonant or as a vowel. So let's talk about the word Frist. Is there a vowel sound in this word? Okay,
yes.
And there's an I. And we could say, let's go back to the single vowel staircase and find the I. Oh, that's an I. So if we were gonna write the word Frist out, we'd have, what's the first sound? What's the next sound? What's the next sound? We have F-R-I. And then I would lift my hand from the word first and say, what's the order of the R and I? Does the R come first or does the I come first in this word? Oh, the I comes first. It's the initial letter between I and R. If I have a single vowel followed by I-R, what is the sound of that? It says Let's say the sounds together. What's the word first? Does that help you?
Yes, now I think I'm getting myself confused. So when you go to cover up, are you covering up their mistake or the sentence and so they see the correct one, or you've covered it all?
No.
We won't have the second sentence. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm covering up what we're reading. Okay, does that help?
Right.
And then I'm dealing first with the mistake, and then I'm comparing it to what's on the page.
To what's right. You're getting thrown because we have both sentences.
I know, but I don't know how else to present it to you.
Right. Okay, got it. Good,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you how I would deal with the word Troy, okay? And see if it's what you did. And then what I'm also going to say is you have a homework assignment. Each of you is going to write 2 mistakes down and send it onto our website or onto our Facebook, page where we talk to each other. And next week, what we're going to do is we're going to trade mistakes. Okay? So you've got to make 1 or 2 mistakes, and everybody else is going to write down 1 or 2 mistakes that your kids have had. It can be a spelling mistake. It can be a reading mistake. It can be a mistake with a consonant, a mistake with a vowel. I don't care, but we got to get this muscle strengthened. Would you agree? Okay. So let's look at Trey, Troy. Is someone willing to do this with me?
I'm willing.
Okay, Deb, what is correct about mistake Troy?
Oh, wait a minute. Am I the student or am I the?
No, you're
I'm
the teacher. You're the teacher. We're going to work through it together.
Okay. All right.
Maybe you don't want to volunteer now.
Okay, so you read Troy, and I would say I agree with the rest of the sentence. Most of the sentence, I put my lunch on the, and I'm going to cover up this last word. You said Troy. What are the first 2 sounds that you hear in Troy?
Okay.
And let's take a look at the first 2 letters. I'm winging it a little bit. Okay, let's take a.
Can I help you here?
Yes.
Without embarrassing you? Is that
No,
okay?
no, yeah.
Okay. So I want to make this just a little bit easier for you.
Okay.
Instead of telling them, the whole sentence is correct, let's focus on the word Troy. So within the word Troy, what's correct?
Am I the student now?
No,
yes.
You're the teacher still. You're still the
teacher. Okay. All right.
Good question. What's correct about in the word Troy?
When you said Troy, I agree with you that and r are it is how you pronounce that. Let's take a look at the rest of the word.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then I would say, when you said Troy, can you tell me the sound of Troy? And they could say oi. And I say, agree with you. How would you spell oi at the end of a word? There's 2 ways to spell oi, O-I and O-Y. At the end of a word, how would you spell the oi sound?
O-Y.
Okay. And then I would lift my hand off the page and say, is that what your eye tells you to say? O-Y? And they say, oh, no, that's A-Y. And then if they didn't know what A-Y said, I would tell them. Because when they don't know a sound for the letters, there's no way that I can ask them a question about how it feels, right?
Can you say that last part again? When you don't ask them what?
If they don't know the sound of a letter, I can't get at a question to get them to know what it is. I have to tell them. Or I might, actually, I may take that back. I could say, is it this or is it that? But if they don't know, they don't know, right? So I have to tell them. So homework, guys, is that you're gonna write 2 mistakes and we're gonna play around with this, okay? Because it's so important. I think actually, and I'm gonna ask Sarah to kind of remind me of this. Every lesson from now on, all the time that we're together, from now until next spring, every time we see each other, we're going to deal with mistakes because it's the hardest thing to learn, right? It's not easy. It's really not easy.
Well, and Sasha,
yes, please.
I think back to like how I would have tackled that before. I also said that to Joanne, because before I would have said, before my learning with you, I would have said, well, does that make sense? I put my lunch on the Troy. Like I would have tackled the sense of it as opposed to what is actually in print.
But we now know,
right?
And in some ways that is a valid question, because what do we do when we're reading something and all of a sudden it's garbage? That's a signal,
right?
Right. So, but they can't correct themselves. They can tell you it doesn't make sense, but they don't have a way to correct themselves.
Right.
So I think that's a valid question. if we're trying to teach them self-monitoring. Does this make sense or not? But it doesn't help them to self-correct, right?
I do both. I mean, I would do both.
I said that too. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
I think you're exactly right. You're teaching them to self-monitor. If they read something and it doesn't make any sense and they just go on, they have to learn how to stop in the first place. And then you're teaching them how to correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So it's a useful question to ask, but then we have to go further.
And I think before that would have been my big, is that right? And then I would have ended there, but now I have somewhere to go with it.
Or there, I have seen, and I know no one in this group has ever done this. They'll say, think about it again. Think about it again. And they can't. And how do they feel when you say that? So yeah. Okay. So I'd like to move on to the Y spelling pattern. Okay. And one of the things that I like to say to my students before we begin, and I'll say it with you, is what do you already know about the letter Y and its sound and its spelling jobs? What do you already know about the letter Y? Because that tells me two things. That tells me, one, what they know and what they don't know. And two, it tells me what they confuse. Because if they've got a mistaken idea about the letter Y or anything that I'm teaching, I have to deal with that inaccurate thinking. The research in thinking says if you don't deal with them as what their misconceptions, they'll just keep going that way. They won't change. So my first question is, what do you already know about the letter Y? So if everybody could just jot down, what do you know about the letter Y already? Everything that you know about the letter Y, please. And when you're ready, just put your thumb up so I can know you've gotten your ideas down, please. Okay, I got one thumb. 2, 1, 2, 3. Great. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I'm going to ask each person that has their thumb up and feels comfortable to tell me only one thing that they know about Y. I don't want to know everything you know, but I want to know one thing. So, Heather Doty, can you tell me one thing, unmute yourself, tell me one thing that you know about the letter Y.
It can sound like E.
It can sound like E. Thank you. Who else? Heather Mason, what can you tell me about the letter Y?
It also makes other sounds.
Okay, good. That's it. That's your one. That's your one. That's your one. Okay, Deb, what's one thing you know? Deb?
Yes, I was unmuting. At the end of a one-syllable word, it says I.
I agree. Let's see. Catherine, what's one thing you know about Y? I can't hear you. It's okay.
It's sometimes a vowel and sometimes a consonant.
Oh, yes, it is. Everybody has been absolutely accurate in the things that they've told me. Anybody else have something that somebody hasn't said? Yes, please. Zora.
When it comes at the beginning of a word, it says
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else got another thing that wasn't talked about? Yes,
I do. Oh,
go ahead. Who is it?
Oh, I don't know. I think we both, two of us talked at the same time.
Okay,
Laura, go ahead.
I'm going to get probably booed for this. I think it says E in the beginning of a word.
No, you won't. Not by me.
Okay.
Okay. Joanne?
I agree with her that you have that E sound, but I was going to say soft G. you're gonna see it's, you know, makes the
Okay.
G soft.
Okay, so now I'm going to bring this all together, okay? And this is
Can
a
I add
technique.
one more?
Okay, go ahead, Melissa.
Y can say I in Greek words.
Yes, you
Yeah,
are
I
absolutely
agree.
correct.
Yes.
Absolutely. Don't you guys just feel so smart? You
Oh,
are.
yeah.
You know a lot. Okay, so Y, I say, is a changeling. It can be a consonant or it can be a vowel. And it depends on where it is in the word, whether we know if it's a consonant or vowel. Position, 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 position. So it has a, Y has a different sound in the beginning, middle, or end of a word. And also at the end of a word, if it's a one syllable word, it's different than the sound at the end of a two syllable word. The other thing that someone alluded to is the fact that the spellings of Y really depend on the language of origin, the etymology. So Greek words have a Y in the middle. Anglo-Saxon words do not. They Anglo-Saxon words have a Y in the beginning and in the end. Greek have it in the middle, which tells me also, you know, I might not teach that Y in the middle until I'm at least into third or fourth grade, right? Now, one of the things that's true is, and I have to say, Laura, I sometimes I don't fight about this, but I love that you said it because it vindicates me. So if Y said yeah, which is what most of us are taught, right? Y says yeah, right? Is it ya s, ya arn, ya oo? No, it's you. And it's almost as if it's a diphthong, but it's you. Yes, yarn. So the truth of the matter linguistically is in the beginning of a word, Y says E.
And there's always a vowel. There's a vowel right after the Y in the beginning of the word. That's where the little Y comes from.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yes.
when you're saying it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and then also now you've kind of gotten this from dealing with R control vowels. If you're wanting to say to your or teach your students, when is Y acting as a consonant or when is it acting as a vowel, you have to say, okay, this is a one syllable word, cry, or yarn. Yarn is a one syllable word. We know that every syllable can have one and only one vowel sound. Do we have a vowel sound besides the possible Y in the word yarn? Or yes, we do. And because we can only have one vowel sound, that Y is acting as a consonant. Okay? So as always, and you're going to get to do this today,
Can I ask a quick question?
yes, please.
So let's pretend we were in the very beginning a long time ago when we were having the vowel and the consonant cards and you were practicing having kids be able to show a card or show a letter and have them pronounce it. So what would you teach them for Y?
Just what I've been doing now. Oh, you're saying whether it's a consonant or a vowel? Is that what you're asking?
No, I guess what I'm saying is just for when you're teaching the sound of each letter in that very beginning.
Okay.
What would you teach for Y?
Okay, just what I'm doing now. And I wouldn't teach Y until I'd gotten all my other consonants and I'm going in the sequence of how I would teach this to children.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't get to the C and the Y and the X and the QU until I'd gone through all the other consonants and my single vowels and vowel plus E. And then I'd be introducing what I call somewhat the complex consonants and vowels, or complex consonants. And that's when I do C, X, Q, U, and Y. And I'd say these consonants, these 4 consonant sounds, do not function like the pairs or other groups. They're totally different. So let's figure out what sounds they make and how we can know how to pronounce them when we see them, so we can think about it. We don't have to just memorize. Does that answer you, Zora?
I guess, so where would it, I'm just trying to think about like what that would look like. Let's say you're starting in kindergarten, you're going through this.
Okay.
So where would that fall? Like in the,
okay.
from like kindergarten to 3rd grade?
Okay. Okay. In kindergarten, I probably would only talk about Y at the end of a 1-syllable word. Cry, fly, try. And in 1st grade, I'd be talking about Y, but I talk about it this, that it's acting as a vowel. I talk about it in the end of a 1-syllable word and the end of a 2-syllable word. And once they have that stable, I would say also, there's some Anglo-Saxon words that use Y in the beginning of a word. And when the Y is at the beginning of the word, it is not acting as a consonant. It is acting as a vowel. Let's figure out together what the sound of the Y in the beginning of the word is. That's what I would do. Okay? And so if I was pretty much up to end of 2nd grade, that's all I do. End of a 1-syllable word, end of a 2-syllable word, and the beginning. And then when I'm starting to talk about words that come from Greek origins, then I talk about, there's a couple of consonants and vowels, or consonants actually, no, it's consonant vowel, that are in Greek words that are not in Anglo-Saxon and Latin words. And Y happens to be one of those. Let's look at it in this word, Jim, him, okay? That's how I would do it, okay? You're welcome. Okay, so essentially, here are these questions, and they're pretty simple. Where is the Y sitting in each word, beginning, middle, or end? And I could have my kids, have cards and sort. And I could sort, is it a 1-syllable word or a 2-syllable word? And then I could ask, is the Y working as a consonant or a vowel in this word? And then what is the sound? And that's how I teach Y. Okay? Okay. This right click is really giving me troubles. I'm learning. Okay. So here are some things that I might do with the letter Y. I might make a set of cards on nonsense words and have Y wherever I've taught it. So if I've only taught it at the end of a 1-syllable word, that's all I put in my cards. And if it's after the end of 1- and 2-syllable words, that's what I put. And I use any game board and a dice, roll it. You got to read a card before you can move. And if you can tell me it's sound, you get to move that number of spaces. If you can tell me if it's acting as a consonant or a vowel, you get to move further. You could have them do anything. Can you give me a word that rhymes with this? Get triple jumps, whatever torture you can think of for your kids to get them to practice this in a game format, because it's more fun. Okay, any questions about Y, or we've covered them?
Just to confirm,
yes,
back to what we were talking about with Y at the beginning.
Yes.
So if I teach 1st, 2nd grade, I'm really going to focus in not on the beginning sound, but more the 1-syllable and 2-syllable Y sound. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And there are some words like yes and you where you can talk about it in situ.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So here's a really important question that I want all of you to answer, and then we'll share your answers. Why are C and Y both position rules? And how are these two patterns the same? And how are they different? These are the kinds of questions that I ask my kids all the time. So I get to ask you, why is C and Y, why are they both position rules? And how are they same? And how are they different? Please. So when you're got your answer, you can put your thumb up.
Okay. See?
Okay. Who has one part of an answer for why C and Y are both position rules? Please volunteer. Or I'll volunteer you.
Why? Well,
Heather.
C.
Uh-huh.
Which other?
That's Heather Mason.
Sorry, I was muttering with my mic off.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually still thinking about this. I know that C
Okay.
is a position. Okay, so I'm just gonna say what's coming off the top of my head. I think C is a position rule because whether or not it makes the S or the K sound has to do with what vowel follows it.
Exactly, exactly. And Heather, can I do this? S and K. Do you hear the difference?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So C is a position rule because the letters that come after it change its sound. Thank you. Okay. Who else could tell me something? Melissa, how are C and Y? How are C or Y? Why is Y a position rule?
Why is Y position rule?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Because depending where it is, it has a different sound, which we talked about all the different sounds. So at the end of a two-syllable
And that's the other
word,
part of a position rule, isn't it? Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody else is going to tell me how they are different. Who's going to tell me how C? Okay, wait, no, look, I have a hand up here. I'm trying to get names and I can't, it's not going to work. No, they run away. See? Oh,
There
Heather
goes.
Doty. Heather Doty, how are they different?
Can you hear me? They are different because one is just where it is in the word, and the other one depends on what follows it.
Exactly. So they're the two instances of the position. Anybody else got a difference between C and Y?
What I thought of is, this isn't completely accurate because there are more sounds for C, but from what we've learned so far, we pronounce C in 2 different ways and Y has 3 ways.
I completely agree
so,
with that.
So far.
So far. So far. Yes, Lisa.
Okay. I was thinking they could be different because C usually acts as a consonant sound and Y can be both a consonant and a vowel.
I agree with that. Exactly. Okay. So you guys are thinking like linguists. This is excellent. Okay. Now, this is an example of a toolbar. I hope you get that toolbars are really helpful. Now, I'm going to have you break out in groups, and this is what I want you to do. I had asked that everybody bring their copy in some form or another of my book, because I want you, as you work in partners, to teach each other one of these rules. You get to pick the rule that you want to teach. R controlled vowels, the C rule, the G rule, which we haven't done, but it's in the book, and OI, OY. So we're going to have 10 minutes because I really want you to go from step 1 to the last step in teaching this. And I want you to give each other feedback or be able to talk about, oh, what did I do that was accurate? What could I do differently? Okay? Any questions of what I want you to do? 10 minutes teaching each other a rule. So my question is, how did it go? Okay. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I love thumbs up. Okay. So now, the important thing, I think, when I'm thinking of trying to do my lesson plans to work with you guys, I always think it's important to get you to do these things because I don't want to be a talking head and you not doing stuff. Okay. So we have been going for far too long. Show me thumbs up. How many people want a break? Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break, guys. Okay. And we'll be back in 5 minutes. And then I hope to teach you about weak and strong vowels. So what I want to do is I want to talk about, for the rest of the time that we have today, an idea that I don't know if anybody else talks about vowels this way or not, but it's worked well for me. So this idea of weak and strong vowels, I kind of think about them as wrestlers, and who's the weak wrestler and who's the strong wrestler. That's why I love this graphic that I found one day. So let's go through this like I would go through it with my students and figure out what is a weak vowel and what is a strong vowel together. So I'm going to read the words on the top line of this slide. So it says bat, bar, rate, taunt, sank, and ball. So in this group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words, what is the same about the vowel in all of these if you use your I alone? What's the same?
The A, or the A is the second letter?
There's an A letter in each of them, right? And we know, like in the word bat, the vowel is saying what? Ah. And in the word bar, it's saying R. And the word rate, it's saying A. And the word taunt, it's saying aw. And you haven't learned this kind old pink things yet, but in the word sank, the A is saying A. And when there's an L after the A, it's saying all. So when we have these letters A on this first line, is the sound of the A the same for in each of these words, or is it different? It's completely different, isn't it? And we know there's certain reasons, right? Like if I have an R, and is that a consonant or a vowel? It's a consonant. Did it change the sound of the single vowel? Absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's really, that R is a powerful letter and that A is kind of weak. And in the word rate, why did its sound change? And you all know it's because of that vowel plus E. That E can come over that single consonant and make the A say its name. And we talked about A, U, A, W, didn't we? And so when you have 2 vowel letters together, the sound is different than when they're apart. And so AU is saying ah. So I have a question. Did a consonant change the sound of the A in any way? Is it like, did the R's consonant, did it change the sound of the A? And did another vowel change it? Like, did the U change it? Did the NK change it? Did the E change it? So would you agree that that single vowel letter, its sound is really affected by the letters that come after it? Its sound changes with some vowels and its sounds changes with different consonants. Let's look about at the second line. And here we have the word met, meet, sister, and meet. What's the same about the vowels in each of these words as you look at it with your eye? It's got an E, right? Are the vowel sounds the same in each of these words? No. Did another vowel, like an E, did it change the sound of the E? Did an A change the sound of the E? Did an R? Oh my gosh, that one letter single vowel is really weak. It can be pushed around by so many other letters. And I could, if we wanted to, go through and ask the same exact questions with O, I, and U. But do you see the pattern that a single vowel, its sound changes by the letters that come after it? It can change because of a consonant. It can change because of another vowel. And that's why I call the single vowels weak, because they get pushed around by other letters and their sound gets changed by other letters. And a two-letter vowel is a strong vowel. And one of the ways, and I don't think I have this on a slide, but I'll tell you about it. If you have the word AWE, that's the word aw. And the vowel in the word aw is AW. Did the E on the end change the sound of the AW? No, it didn't. Because AW is a two-letter, it's a digraph, a vowel digraph, and it's strong. And nobody's going to push it around and change its sound. How about the word O-R-E, or, like in the metal, or? And
that would be strong.
It's a strong vowel, and it's got an E after it, and that E could jump over. That's what we've learned, haven't we? But OR is a two-letter vowel, a digraph, and it is strong. Okay? So, on the next slide, I have all these words. And those words are pole, pot, pool, point, pit, met, sister, meet, spur, stag. Could you please sort these words based on whether their vowel is weak or strong, please? And when you got it, just put your thumb up so I know. And also, if you could then, after you sorted, write a definition of what a weak vowel is and a strong vowel, please. So who's willing to define what a weak vowel is, please?
I'll try it.
Okay, do.
All right. A single vowel word changed, that the vowel sound is changed by the letter that follows it.
Okay. And that is a weak vowel. That is perfectly correct. That it is a single vowel. So it's the vowel on the staircase, right? And it's weak because the letters that follow it can change its sound.
Right.
Okay. What is a strong vowel? Someone else, please. Lee, you want to do it?
I'll give it a shot.
Good.
It's a single vowel that holds its own. And isn't pushed around by the following letters.
And I agree with everything except, is it a single vowel or is it a digraph?
It's a digraph, yes.
Exactly.
Because I thought of the word pool.
Exactly. It's a digraph, a vowel digraph, or even a diphthong, or you can say a vowel team or a 2-letter vowel that holds its own. Its sound is not changed by the letters that come after it. Yep. Anybody have questions about this?
I have a question.
Yes, please. Yes, Amy.
So like a short vowel, like in pot and met, are those strong or are those weak?
No, those are weak. Pot
because they
and met, because they're a single vowel. If I put an O after that, an R after that O, it would change it to port.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a question, Sasha.
Yes, Laura?
Okay. I have, one too. So, but what about spur, for instance? That's considered a strong vowel, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
But if I put an E at the end of the word, it would say spewer.
What?
Just like the word cure.
Yes.
So
wait a minute. Cure. Oh, it says something different than doesn't it?
yeah, it does. And that happens. So a silent E is, we always say it's stronger than the vowel R's or than the R controlled vowels.
Okay.
Except when it's OR.
And I have a question. Is it anything else but those? It happens with the R's. It's with the R controlled.
That's right. Except for OR, like you pointed out, but that's because OR already says OR.
I agree with you. I
Okay.
completely agree with you. Okay. Someone else had something?
Yeah, I had a question. I was wondering, you were saying with a strong vowel, it'd be a digraph made out of, I guess, 2 letters?
Yes.
What about if you have, let's say like in the word 8, you have, would be IG and H together, yeah, or EIGH.
Also strong, isn't it? Its sound doesn't get changed, does it?
So it could be 2, 3, or
yes.
I guess 4 letters?
Yes, yes, yes. Did anybody have trouble with sorting these? Like point, is it weak or strong? Strong. Strong. I love it. Stag, weak or strong?
Weak.
Weak. Okay, I think you guys have it, right? Now, this is really important. This idea of weak and strong is really important because about half of the rest of the spelling rules are based on whether the vowel is weak or strong. Okay? So let's go to the next slide. And I'm going to teach you this the way I would teach it to students. Okay? And I would say, at the end of a 1-syllable word, because all of these are 1-syllable words, there are 2 ways to spell the sound of k, k, or ck. And there has to be a reason for this. We know our English language is logical. So we're going to figure out, we're going to explore this and say, when do we use k and when do we use ck? And what I want us to do is I want to pay attention to whether if the vowel is weak or strong. So in the word back, what is the vowel? A. And is that weak or strong? It's weak. In the word bake, what's the vowel? It's A-E. And is that weak or strong? We could use these things, weak or strong. Okay, so bake is a strong vowel because it's A-E. In the word back, how did I spell the k sound? With a K or CK? CK. And in the word bake, how did I spell the k sound? With a K. I'm going to ask these questions over and over. And when you know the pattern, put your thumb up, okay? Peak. What's the vowel in the word peak? Is it weak or is it strong? How did I spell the k sound with this strong vowel in peak? How about the word peck? What's the vowel? Is it weak or strong? It's weak. How did I spell the k sound in peck? CK. Here's the word brick. What's the vowel sound in the word brick? Is it weak or strong? And how did I spell the k sound, with K or CK? Here's the word break. What's the vowel? AE. Is it weak or strong? And how did I spell the k sound? Has anybody seen a pattern yet? Who's willing to say what they think the pattern is? Yes, please.
We use CK with weak vowels and K with strong.
Yes, and I have a question. Deb. If I had the word back and I put an ED on it, could that E jump over and make the A say its letter name if it had CK between it?
Did you say the word back?
Back, yes.
B-A-C-K? No.
No, because if I have two consonants, that protects that weak vowel, doesn't it? Mm. And if I put an ER or EN or ING, those vowel letters could not get at that weak vowel because the two consonants between them, the C and the K, protected that weak vowel. Does this make sense, guys? Okay, Lee, I'm going to keep going with you, okay? So I'm going to ask you to say, I want to hear you, okay, please. In the word duck, what is the vowel in the word duck?
The U.
And is that a weak vowel or a strong vowel?
It's weak.
And why is it weak?
It is a single vowel.
That's why. It's a single vowel.
Okay.
Okay.
I was ready to go on. It's a single vowel.
You don't even have to go on.
Okay.
It's a single vowel. Okay. And because it's a single vowel, we know it can be affected by other vowels like an E or an R, right? If they're right next to the E or even one consonant away, right?
Yes.
So how did we spell the k sound at the end of duck?
CK.
Oh, did both those two letters, did they kind of protect that one letter weak vowel? If I put an ER on ducker, would that CK keep the E away from the U?
Yes.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Yes, it would. And here's another word, ducking, right? If I had UI, does that I change the sound of U like in the word suit? S-U-I-T.
Yes.
Yes. But I've got two consonants between that U and the I, so the I can't come over and bother the U.
Okay.
Is it clear?
It's getting clearer, yes.
Good. Okay. So the whole idea here is consonants protect a weak vowel, but they have to be more than one consonant because things can jump over one consonant. Okay. So here's this obnoxious sound, and it just tells us weak and strong. And when we have a weak vowel, we use CK, and when we have a strong vowel, we use K. Now, I have a question, and I want you guys to think about this. I want you to look at these three words and tell me why they are spelled correctly. Why I only had to use one K, not CK. And when you know, put your thumb up. Okay, everybody got it already? I'm going to ask the questions. In the word milk, what is the vowel? It's I. Is it weak or strong? Why don't I need a CK there? Is anybody willing to tell me why I don't need a CK to protect that weak vowel?
Because you already have another consonant there.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. And if I have two consonants between the single vowel and any suffix that could change its sound, it's protected. The K-CK rule works this way. The CH-TCH rule works this way. The GE-DGE rule works this way. The floss rule works this way. And it also tells you about the doubling rule in multisyllable words. It's the same banana. And I can tell you that once your kids get one rule, they'll say to you, I can figure it out. Because they know to ask themselves, what is the vowel? Is it weak or strong, protected, unprotected? What do I have to do to spell that ending sound? So here is a toolbar for the KCK. And there's 3 instances that we have to talk about. We have a strong vowel immediately followed by the k sound. And so we spell the k sound with a K. We have a weak vowel immediately followed by the k sound. And so we spell it CK to protect the weak vowel. We have a weak vowel followed by another consonant and then the K. So we only need the K because we've got that consonant before the k sound. Have I totally confused you guys? Or does this make sense? Okay, okay. So one of the things that, if this is not making sense, what I want you to do is to text me, to go on the chat room with me, to, we can have a Zoom conference, because this is such an important idea of weak and strong vowels and how the spelling patterns follow it. And it is really unique, but it works. And it's actually based in that research that Hannah Hodges and Rupert did, because they said the different consonants and vowels that follow another letter change its sound. And that's what this is doing. So let's see, we have 10 minutes. I'm going to teach you the CH-TCH, okay? So put your learner hat on, not your teacher hat. So at the end of a 1-syllable word, there's 2 ways to spell the ch sound, CH and TCH. Ch. They both say ch. Even that T, do you hear it when I say pitch? Oh, and we're going to have some colloquial, some different, people in the South and in Canada. In the word patch, do you hear it? T, patch. I don't hear it, but it's got a job. So let's go through our questions. Here's the first word. Porch, what's the vowel? It's OR. Is it weak or strong? It's strong. And how did we spell the ch sound? CH, TCH. We did CH. How many? Is CH 1 sound or 2? It's 1. It's a digraph, okay? So it's only 1. Even though it's 2 letters, it's 1 sound. Okay, how about the word patch? What's the vowel? Is it weak or strong? And how did we spell the ch sound? TCH. Even though we don't pronounce the T, we've got another consonant there that could have its sound. So we have 2 consonants after that. In the word peach, what is the vowel? Weak or strong? Strong, strong. And how did we spell the ch? CH or TCH? In the word stitch, what's the vowel? Weak or strong? And are we going to protect it with TCH, or can we just use CH? Okay, so does everybody see the pattern? Can you write the pattern out for this CH-TCH rule, please? Who's willing to give me the explanation of this CH-TCH rule, please? Okay, go for it, Zora.
So the CH will follow the strong vowel. And the TCH will follow the weak vowel.
Exactly. Anybody have anything different? In maybe different words, but okay. That is completely accurate. Okay, now of course, yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, because you keep calling, you say they protect, right? So,
right.
A CK protects.
Yes.
But a CH doesn't. You need the T. So,
yes,
does that confuse kids ever?
It's because I have to juxtapose the letters. It's K or CK. It's CH or TCH.
Okay.
It's GE.
So it's not just the fact that there's two letters. It's just the fact that it's this or that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that question. Okay. So also we have to say, how about what's happening in lunch and pinch? Okay, Lee, you got it? What? We've got two consonants. We have the N and then we have the CH, right? Okay. I think the CH kind of sullies it, doesn't it? Right? Because we think, oh, wait, you know, but usually the K and CK don't sit together and the T and the CH don't usually sit together. And that's how I think of it. So that's the toolbar.
Would you bring up exceptions at this point, like
no,
rich?
I would not.
Okay.
Okay, no, I would not. And thank you for asking that. And so we can say for everybody else, there's about 4 words that are the exceptions to this rule. And the words are much, such, rich, and sandwich. And so on the first day that I teach that, I would not bring those exceptions up, but then I would. And what I do with it is I try and make like or have my kids make a silly sentence that has all 4 of those words to serve as a memory hook for them.
I also include the word which, like which one. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Which, much, such, rich, sandwich. Okay. And I don't know anything besides those 5 that are exceptions that way. Okay. So it's pretty limited. So I'm not, I kind of have this rule in my mind. I will not start a new rule or a new idea with 5 minutes left. That's just cruel. So what I would like you to do is the other 2 rules that completely follow this pattern exactly are the GE-DGE rule and the floss rule. And I'll just say the floss rule, floss, there's 2 names, buzz off Miss Pill or the floss rule. And I would like, yeah, I know. It's because at the end of a word, when you have a weak vowel, you double the F, L, S, and Z. Okay, so you have those. I sent those to you. I would like you to read those, teach them to someone, and come back and say if you have questions on Monday. Okay, okay. Because I don't think we need to go through them because it's the exact same questions over and over and over that you would be asking. Okay, it's the same jig. Any questions, comments? Now's our last 5 minutes to do something free. No? We get to finish 5 minutes early, guys. Okay? Today we're halfway through. And I want to thank every one of you who has just been here so committed to this process. And I'm very respectful of that commitment. I really am. You obviously care about your kids and care about being good teachers. Okay. Have a good weekend. Rest. Do something fun, something good for yourself. Okay? Be well.